Before we begin, viewer discretion is advised. This content is for entertainment. What happens when a Hollywood legend collides with the sharpest tongue in late-night television? What starts as a routine interview to promote a film project quickly spirals into something raw, volatile, and unforgettable. The stage is real-time with Bill Maher. The lights blaze, the audience buzzes, and millions at home expect the usual mix. Witty banter, pointed political jabs, maybe a few polite laughs, but within minutes, the temperature in that room will climb, and the air itself will feel combustible. Robert De Niro, one of Hollywood's most respected icon, steps into Maher's arena. For over 5 decades, his name has carried weight, not just for his legendary performances, but for the intensity he brings into any room. He's calm, measured, the kind of man who rarely lets an interview shake him. Tonight is different. Tonight, the script doesn't hold. Across from him sits Bill Maher, a man who thrives on provocation. For years, he's built a career by sharpening questions into insults and turning uncomfortable truths into punchlines. The audience expects sparring, but not the kind of fight they're about to witness. Only minutes in, the tone shifts. You can hear the silence between laughs. You can feel the audience hesitate, unsure whether they're watching comedy or combat. And before the night ends, you'll hear the line that will echo across the internet, a line forged in fire. De Niro staring Maher down, unleashing a truth no studio could script. This isn't an interview. This is a collision. And when it's over, late-night television won't look the same. The cameras roll. The familiar real-time set gleams under the lights. The polished desk, the sleek backdrop, the charged atmosphere. It's a space built for confrontation, for debate, for laughter at someone else's expense. Tonight, the audience is primed. Maher's opening monologue is landed like a string of grenades. He's mocked politicians, skewered cultural taboos, and worn that satisfied smirk that says he's enjoying himself a little too much. The crowd laughed, clapped, jeered right on cue. The machine is well-oiled. Then Robert De Niro walks in. He enters without bravado, yet his presence silences the room more effectively than any punchline. Dressed simply, unpretentious, his aura is unmistakable. Here's the man who has played gangsters, kings, broken men, violent men, who carries emotional weight like armor. He doesn't need words to command attention. His stillness does it for him. De Niro has come to talk about his craft, his latest work. For fans, this is rare. He speaks sparingly, chooses appearances with precision, and rarely indulges in talk shows. He's not a comedian. He's a craftsman, and his words matter because he chooses them carefully. Opposite him, Bill Maher sharpens his tools. Maher is never intimidated. That is both his power and his flaw. His confidence, so often mistaken for arrogance, is the engine of the show. He pushes buttons, tests boundaries, and treats discomfort as entertainment. To him, every guest is a target. Every answer is an opening. The audience expects the usual: light banter, a few Hollywood jokes, a political quip, maybe a jab at celebrity activism. De Niro will promote his film, Maher will get his laughs, and the night will move on. But something lingers, a heaviness in the air, a spark, a charge. The crowd can animate yet, but the storm has already begun gathering. Tonight, the rules of late-night comedy won't apply. Robert De Niro did not walk into that studio to play the clown, and Bill Maher has no idea what fire he's about to ignite. The opening minutes glide by, deceptively smooth. Maher tosses out light jokes about Hollywood egos and bloated movie budgets. De Niro responds calmly, unshaken, discussing his film with the same gravitas he brings to every performance. For a moment, it feels routine familiar. Safe. Then Maher shifts gears. His smirk widens. He leans forward, eyes locking onto De Niro like a predator circling prey. Bob, he begins, stretching the words for maximum sting. You've been pretty vocal about politics lately. Some people say actors should stick to acting. Should millionaire actors really be lecturing regular Americans about their problems? The laughter that follows is thin brittle. It doesn't land like Maher's usual hits. The audience senses. The jab cuts deeper than a punchline. Across the desk, but those who know his work catch it. The slight narrowing of the eyes, the tightening of the jaw, the warning sign. His voice is calm when he answers, steady and restrained. I think people have a right to speak their minds. Bill, that's what democracy is about. Polite, controlled, professional. But Maher isn't looking for polite. He smells blood alien. Spike folds into his smug confidence and fires again. Sure. But don't you think it's a little rich? You're sitting up there in penthouses, flying private jets. When's the last time you worried about paying rent? The words drop like stones. A ripple of discomfort rolls through the studio. A few people chuckle nervously. Others shift in their seats. The easy laughter from earlier is gone, replaced by something heavier. This isn't playful sparring anymore. It feels personal. Dairo's jaw tightens. His hands press into the armrests, knuckles stretching just slightly. When I speaks, there is steel beneath the restraint. I grew up in Little Italy. Ikino. What it is like to struggle. Just because I've been successful doesn't mean I've forgotten where I came from or that I can't care about other people. Measured, yes, but unmistakably edged. Maher lets out a dismissive chuckle, sharp grating. Come on, Bob. That was 60 years ago. You've been living in luxury for decades. Don't you think you're a little out of touch? The studio tightens. You can almost hear the air drain from the room. This time, the audience doesn't laugh. They don't move. They sit in silence, watching storm clouds gather above the stage. And in Robert De Niro's eyes, the warning signs blaze brighter. The first sparks are struck. The fire is coming. Silence settles thick, impenetrable. Maher, unfazed by the tension crushing the room, leans in again. His tone sharpens, condescension dripping from every word. Bob, he says, wearing a smirk of someone who still believes he's in control. All that Little Italy stuff, that's ancient history. You've been living in penthouses and flying private for decades. Nobody buys the struggling kid's story anymore. The jab lands like a slap. The audience shifts, the unease, now unmistakable. Some glance at each other, unsure if Terry's still watching comedy or if they've stumbled into something far more raw. Dair doesn't flinch. He doesn't raise his voice. Instead, he delivers the answer with icy calm. I haven't forgotten where it came from. Each word lands with deliberate weight, like a man planting his boots into the ground. Maher laughs small, mean, dismissive. A laugh that sweeps away a lifetime of experience with a single breath. And that's when Niro strikes. His voice is low, steady, but it carries an intensity that smothers any remaining laughter. Comedy is not an excuse for cowardice. The line hits like a thunderclap. The audience gasps. Some clap reflexively. Others cover their mouths. Everyone feels that they've crossed into uncharted territory. Maher's smile falters only for a moment, but his pride refuses to retreat. Eileen's bike attempts casual, but his tone is sharper than ever. Hey, comedy's how we deal with the hard stuff. At least I'm honest about what I do. I don't walk in pretending to be some moral authority because I can memorize lines and look tough on screen. Knives, every word. For a heartbeat, the studio freezes. The air crackles. Then Niro leans forward, eyes narrowing with the same fire that has shaken co-stars on screen for decades. His voice is quiet, controlled, but the menace in it makes the silence deafening. You think being cynical makes you smart? You think tearing people down makes you clever? All it makes you is small. Maher's face reddens. The mask cracks. The usual composure slips. He tries to laugh it off, but the sound kachia. He feels the audience pulling away, sensing the shift. Desperate to regain control, he reaches for the kill shot. One word guaranteed to ignite the explosion. His voice rises, brittle with ego. You know what this looks like, Bob. Tantrum. You're throwing a tantrum on my show. The word detonates like a bomb. Dairos' entire demeanor changes. His jaw locks. His hands clamp onto the armrests, knuckles bleaching white. In his eyes, the calm fractures and something infinitely more dangerous flickers beneath Dot. The room goes dead silent. Not television. Silence. A suffocating, primal stillness. The audience knows instantly. Maher has made the fatal mistake. This is no longer banter, no longer sparring. This is war. Tantrum hangs in the air like smoke from a gunshot. The final line crossed. And then it happens. Robert De Niro surges from his seat with such force that the chair crashes backward, rolling across the stage before clattering to a stop. The sound booms through the studio. Gasps erupt. People in the front row instinctively recoil, leaning back as though the heat radiating off him could burn. Standing now, De Niro towers over the desk, his full presence flooding the frame. 5 decades of legend, gravity, and raw power converge in a single moment. This isn't acting. This is a man stripped of polish and standing in his own fire. Maher stays seated and suddenly looks small. The smirk is gone. His hand twitches against his cue cards. He opens his mouth to speak. But Diro's voice hits first. Diro's voice comes down sharp and thunderous. Don't you dare tell me to calm down. The words slam through the studio, bouncing off every wall. The audience jolts. Some clap in shock. Others freeze, eyes wide. The silence that follows is so deep it feels like time itself has stopped to catch its breath. Behind the cameras, chaos erupts. Producers bark into headsets, scrambling cut to commercial or keep rolling. Stage managers wave frantically, torn between stepping in and staying invisible. One thing is clear now. They're no longer running the show. The show has taken on a life of its own. Camera operators lean in, instinctively zooming on Diro's face, the blazing eyes, the clenched jaw, the controlled fury in every muscle. They know this is history. Their lenses are catching every second. Maher tries to regain control, raising a hand in a weak grasp at authority. Double. Quotes. Bob, please, sit down. Let's see. Never finishes. De Niro cuts him off, his voice vibrating with fire. You've been disrespectful from the moment I walked out here. You've questioned my intelligence, my background, my right to speak, and now you think you can dismiss me with a word like tantrum. The crowd murmurs, tension ratcheting higher with every syllable. Maher swallows hard, visibly rattled. His usual quick wit gone. For the first time in his career, he looks like a man who has lost control of his own stage. And that's the moment. Everything shifts. This is no longer Bill Maher's show. It belongs to Robert De Niro. Now that the word tantrum hangs in the air like smoke after a gunshot, the insult that crossed the final line, the one that stripped away the last layer of restraint. It's the insult that crosses the final line, the one that strips away every ounce of restraint. Then it happens. Robert De Niro launches up from his seat with such sudden force that the chair crashes backward, rolling across the stage before clattering to a stop. The sound hits the audience like a thunderclap. Gasps ripple through the studio. People in the front row instinctively lean back, recoiling as if the heat pouring off him might burn. Now standing, De Niro towers over the desk, his full presence filling the frame. Diers. De legend. The raw, unfiltered gravitas. All of it ignites at once. This isn't a performance. This is a man stripped of polish, standing in the fire of his own fury. Maher, still seated, suddenly looks small. His smirk is gone. His hand twitches nervously against his cue cards. He opens his mouth, but De Niro's voice crashes down first, sharp and thunderous. Don't you dare tell me to calm down. The words explode through the studio, reverberating against every wall. The audience jolts. Some clap in shock. Others freeze, eyes wide. The silence afterward is so deep it feels as if time itself pauses to inhale. Behind the cameras, chaos erupts. Producers bark into headsets, scrambling. Cut to commercial. Keep rolling. Do something. Stage managers wave frantically, unsure whether to intervene or stay invisible. One thing is clear. No one is in control anymore. The show has taken on a life of its own. Camera operators lean in, instinctively zooming tighter on Dairo's face, those blazing eyes. That clenched jaw, the controlled fury carved into every line of him. They know what they're filming. This is history. Maher tries again, raising a trembling hand in a weak attempt at authority. Bob, please sit down. Let's. But he never finishes. Dairo slices through his words, voice vibrating with fire. You've been disrespectful from the moment I walked out here. You've questioned my intelligence, my background, my right to speak, and now you think you can shut me down with a word like tantrum. The crowd murmurs, tension rising with every syllable. Maher swallows hard, visibly rattled. His usual quick wit has vanished. For the first time in his career, he looks like a man who has lost control of his own stage. And that's when everything shifts. This is no longer Bill Maher's show. It belongs to Robert De Niro now.